Welcome to the Fantasy Champions Fantasy Football Podcast. What do we got today, Rick?
We got the Week 15 Waiver Wire Show.
Welcome to the Fantasy Champions Fantasy Football Podcast. Here's your host, Morgan Colby and Rick Lemon.
Hey, wake up.
Did I really lose this week?
Yes. You know, I wasn't even going to bring it up. I was not going to bring it up on the show, but since you decided to. Morgan and I played in the Staff League, as some of you guys may know. And I beat him. I beat him in the Staff League. In the playoffs. Looks like he's going to cry.
So, I didn't start Miles Sanders.
No, I don't think it would have mattered. Maybe. We'll see.
We'll see tonight.
Yeah.
If Chubb gets 16, then it would have mattered, but I don't want to play that game. I got beat. The 1 week, I lose faith in my guy.
This is the 1 week he decides to show up.
Yeah, every time. Welcome to the Fantasy Champions Fantasy Football Podcast. My name is Morgan Colby, and I lost.
My name is Rick Lemon, and I won.
Oh, frick. Today we are going to talk about Week 15 waiver wire ads. It should be an interesting conglomerate. I think that's a word, right?
Oh boy,
like a mashed together.
Sure.
Look it up on Google. I'm not really sure. Episode of waiver wire ads. So we'll jump right into that in a second. Before we do, check out our website at thefantasychampions.com. If you're on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, you can follow us at the FF Champs on Twitter, at the Fantasy Champions on Insta, and on Facebook.com/The Fantasy Champions. You can like us over there. If you're watching on Apple Podcasts, or if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or any other podcasting platforms, please subscribe and then leave a review. Best way to support the show.
Yes.
It may suck and tell you the wrong thing about sitting Miles Sanders, but just subscribe.
Yeah, that one you might not ever let go.
No. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe, click the bell for notifications, like and comment down below. And Wednesday we have Wednesday or Thursday, I don't know. We haven't really decided yet. A palooza of sorts for a Q&A.
Yeah. So just put in your questions.
Yeah, but I mean,
well,
at this point,
I don't know. It depends.
It's already gone.
Yeah.
Unless we do it on Wednesday, then you can put in your questions. But anyway, we might just record that show right afterwards.
Yeah, you can still do that anyway, though. We can still answer questions in the comments.
So we can jump right in.
Sure.
Like Rick said, I lost.
I should have put something on the game. Been like, if I beat you,
yeah. See, you were being too nice, though. You were being far too nice.
Because our teams, honestly, we're pretty even. I think.
Yeah.
I
would say this year you're probably slightly better just because I don't have any running backs.
I mean, if that's the case, I think I'll be slightly better next year because my team is one of the youngest in the league.
All the players that I thought, like live on the show, off season, would you take Terry McLaurin?
Yeah, of course. I love Terry.
What are you going to offer?
I don't know. We'll talk about it. I love my team though.
I'll take first round picks, both of them.
Oh, I might do that.
He's like, I might do that. He's like, oh. Well, hold on a second. Yeah. Not that you should sell Terry McLaurin in what is it? Dynasty.
Yeah.
Anyway. So let's jump right into our waiver wire show. The first guy on our list for quarterbacks, I think, at least deserves a little bit of an ad. Was a man by the name of Jalen Hurts, who started, this week?
Yes.
For the first time. And he had a pretty good game. I think he had like 18, maybe 19 fantasy points. He wasn't bad. He had 19 fantasy points and 4-point touchdown leagues. So he was actually pretty good. Rick was telling me right before the show that the Dynasty community on Twitter.
I just saw a tweet that said he was a top 5.
Yeah, it's a top 5 Dynasty.
I'm not sure if they were kidding or not, so I don't want to
They'll be honest, they'll probably never watch the show, but who knows? Maybe they'll meander their way into our podcast, and they'll be like, "What the frick?"
Yeah, I don't know.
But he had 19 fantasy points. He was pretty good. He has Arizona and Dallas the next 2 weeks.
That actually is really...
So the conversations about him being a possible league winner from some are warranted.
Yeah.
I am a little bit more concerned that he is on. His leash is going to be about 1.5 feet long. So if he starts collapsing internally at all, I think they would move to Carson Wentz because they weren't even considering starting him again this week after his good game. So, but I think for this week and next week, week 15 and 16, if you're streaming quarterbacks, I think you have, if Jalen Hurts is on your waiver wire, you have a lock at that position. But I think expectations should be set not 30 points a game high. Like you're talking 20, maybe 25 points in the next 2 games.
I'd stream him though.
Not overall each.
I'd still stream him, and it's so gross because it's a playoff game, and you're streaming a rookie quarterback
who you don't know is going to play.
Who you don't know, yeah. But no, I think against Arizona and against Dallas, they're both good matchups, and I think what I like about Jalen Hurts is his rushing floor. He not only can throw the ball well, I think he threw a touchdown pass to I want to say Alshon Jeffrey, but he can also run. He had 18 carries. Yeah, for 106 yards.
It's funny. Somebody tweeted this earlier today about Jalen Hurts, and he was trying not to say Jalen Hurts is better than Lamar Jackson. That's how far we've gotten. But he in one game he looks like a better passer than Lamar Jackson.
I won't go that far. Yet.
Okay, he does look like it. He looks like he's further along as a passer in one start than Lamar Jackson is currently.
I think
I'll say that. I think he's watching him. I think he's a better passer than Lamar Jackson.
Lamar is still way more explosive.
I think. I don't disagree with that. But I think if you're going to add 18 rushes a game for Jalen Hurts on top of his 30 passes, like good lord.
Yeah, so he's not bad. I like Derek Carr this week too. Although the only problem with Derek Carr
is 25 this week.
He had 25 this
24?
week. He had 32, I believe, the week before.
Yeah.
So he's had 2 monster weeks. He's playing against the Chargers, have struggled on defense. There are 2 things though that concern me about Derek Carr. One, he is playing on Thursday night. That's never a great thing.
Oh.
And number 2. Last time he played the Chargers, he had 13 fantasy points. He was good in real life. Like, he had 2 touchdowns and 180 yards. He was efficient, high completion percentage and stuff. But they focused on running the ball. And that could scare me away this week with Derek Carr.
He had a game against Atlanta with 1 point.
Yeah, I would play Jalen Hurts over Derek Carr, but I think he is an option. I don't know. Would you play Derek Carr over Jalen Hurts?
That's a tough one.
They're about this. They are on the same level.
Like the Chargers matchup is a better matchup for Derek Carr, but you just don't know what you're gonna get.
I know that's the problem.
Like he's had all of his matchups have been easy besides Indianapolis the last couple weeks. So from week 9 to 13, all of his matchups were easy. At 16, 7, 25, 1, 35.
It's still all over the place.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna say that he's gonna have a bad game because I do think it's a good pickup and a good start this week if you need one.
Yeah.
But just the floor is very large. It's like a trap door that's opened, but you put foliage on top of it for somebody to fall into.
On this list, Mitch Trubisky is number 2. I don't put Trubisky in my top 5 for this week. And now here's the thing with Trubisky. I said to start him this week against Houston.
I think you need to
it was a good matchup.
Dial it back a little bit on the hate.
I'm hating. I'm not hating. Look, he's gonna be okay.
You can at least pick him up for his Jacksonville matchup week 16.
Yeah, I think he'll be better in week 16 than this week. I just think with Trubisky, it's really about matchups with him. And if he has a good matchup, he'll produce fantasy wise.
Yeah.
If he doesn't have a good matchup, he won't produce fantasy wise. And it's not that. It's not that.
Was that me?
No, I think that was. Yeah, that was me. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Yeah, thank you.
I muted his computer.
Yeah. What was I even saying though? It was about Mitch Trubisky, right?
Yeah, you hate him.
No, I don't hate him. He's good matchups. He plays good. Bad matchups, he doesn't play well. Not that Minnesota's great defense or anything like that.
Yeah.
But it's not the best matchup either. Like I think Jalen Hurts has a better matchup. I think Derek Carr has a better matchup.
Yeah, there's guys that are in better situations.
Yeah, I wouldn't start Phillip Rivers, but Phillip Rivers has a better matchup. Like all these players have better situations. So Trubisky's not bad, but I would play Derek Carr and Jalen Hurts over him.
Yeah. The other guy that I think the only guy that I would really consider is Tua.
Against New England?
Not against New England, but against Las Vegas. Remember, you're in the fantasy playoffs. You got to think 2 steps ahead. He'll probably be on the show next week.
That's true. That's a good point.
But he's rostered in 43% of leagues, and he's only I'm sorry, I'm not going to tell you the start percentage because that doesn't matter, but he's rostered in 43% of sleeper leagues, and he actually has a really good matchup in Week 16 in your championship matchup. So, like, if you didn't start preparing for the postseason for your streaming of quarterbacks and pick up 3 quarterbacks that you wanted to start, you're probably not going to win.
I would also I would pick up Baker Mayfield as well. Week 16 is playing the Jets.
Right.
So that's a great championship game. If you're streaming quarterbacks, him and Tua, and we'll talk about it more next week, right?
For guys that are next week's streaming options are through the roof.
Yeah, so those are guys that you could consider picking up for
this week and next week.
Right, but I think who you think the QB stream of the week for you is?
I would say probably
the guy you want the most.
Yeah, I would say Jalen Hurts.
Me too.
Would be my stream of the week. Would hopefully. I don't know. I'm not confident. I'm not confident in myself anymore after the Sanders situation. Listen to our show again today. The whole Sanders segment.
Yeah.
There was one part where you were joking around and you looked at the camera and you're like, yeah, watch him get 25 points. all week. I was like, our good friend, Kevin Coleman said that Kiki Kuti was going to be a trap game. So I started Kiki Kuti over Miles Sanders, and all week I was like, Miles Sanders is going to be the reverse trap game. He's gonna actually do really well this week, and we're all just the entire fantasy community is just gonna tell you to sit him, and then he's gonna go off. This is fantasy football for you. I'm glad you're still here listening to our podcast.
It's funny because you're more of and Kevin also tweeted this, and I liked his tweet, but he said he'd rather essentially he said like he'd rather go down with Miles Sanders, his studs, than start Gio Bernard. And just like he'd rather go down with the ship. And I like the tweet because I agree. I would have started Miles Sanders over Gio Bernard, and I feel like you're the type of fantasy player that would start the studs. You start your studs no matter like the situation, but in the playoffs you decided not to do that. And
is Sanders a stud?
I think you took him in the first round or second round.
I mean, I didn't take him in the first round. I traded for him for garbage. So.
But he's essentially, he's a stud.
Yeah. But anyway, let's move on to the running back position for waiver wires.
Real quickly, though, I will say, in your defense, Miles Sanders, who had 3, 5, and 7 points, going up against the Saints, a defense number 1 in the league, and hadn't given up a 100-yard rusher.
He was
in
a consensus
16 straight
sit.
games. Is not exactly a bad decision to sit
for
him.
Everyone that I heard, from the fantasy footballers to BDGE to Yahoo Fantasy Sports, everyone told you to sit Miles Sanders this week. I don't know of a single outlet that's told you to start Miles Sanders this week. So if you're going to blame me, you got to blame the rest of us because we're all buffoons.
It was literally like everything was going against
14
Sanders
carries, 115.
Yeah. It was if he didn't have that 80-yard run though, he probably he still would have been decent, but that made it really bad.
Right. But anyway, We'll talk about Sanders probably in the coming episodes, but let's move to the running back position for the waiver wire. Once again, no one really available. Tony Pollard, I talked about obviously your streaming options, the guys that you should be adding as backups. I'm not talking about streamers anymore. This guy could start in your flex.
Tony Pollard?
Yeah, he had 10 carries and 3 catches, and he had 12, 13 fantasy points this past week, I believe. No, he had 11. In half PPR. He had 11 carries, 39 yards, 2 catches, 9 yards, and 1 touchdown. So with a touchdown, obviously that makes it better, but he's starting to get more opportunity in this offense. So I think he's worth an add as an individual player at this point. Hopefully.
Yeah. I mean, if you have to start Tony Pollard at your flex, you're kind of in a tough spot, though.
Yeah.
But no,
I'm not saying start him. I'm saying
he could
pick him up with the possibility that they might even just shut down Zeke for the rest
If
of the
Mostert, true. If Mostert is out, Jeff Wilson's a fantastic pickup. I think he had a touchdown this week. And then one sneaky guy, and you're gonna hate this, but Lynn Bowden Jr. So first of all, Myles Gaskin is out on COVID, but he did not really play running back. He played receiver. So the Dolphins' receiving core right now is atrocious. They have nobody.
It's terrible.
Devontae Parker left, I think, with an injury. So if he's out this week as well, then it's just not looking too great. But Lynn Bolden pretty much is playing receiver. He had 9 targets this week for 7 catches and 82 yards. He was their wide receiver 1 with Tua.
Wasn't this the guy that was drafted by Oakland? And everyone was like, "Oh my God, you need to get him and the other guy on your team."
Yes, because I believe he was like Antonio Gibson, where he was more of a wide receiver. But the Raiders
how did he end up on the?
He got traded in the offs. You don't remember this?
I don't.
It was like in the preseason. The preseason that never happened, but like around that time.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Never mind. It came down.
Or maybe it was during the season. I don't know, but it was a while ago. But they just started using him.
I was told by everyone to draft him.
He could be I'm not saying pick him up and start him, but pick him up, put him on your bench, and see what he does this week, because he's pretty much their wide receiver 1 right now.
Yeah, he's not going to be an Antonio Gibson player.
No, he's not.
Like, he's not going to get running back.
That was what people were saying out of call.
It's funny because Sleeper has him listed as a running back first, and so I have to scroll over to see his freaking receiving numbers. But he had 9 targets, 7 receptions, 82 yards, no touchdowns. If that continues to move forward, I mean, yeah, sure.
Yeah. It's somebody under the radar.
A hybrid running back / wide receiver.
Yeah.
I'll take it. Outside of that, I mean, Jacobs played this week, right?
Jacobs did.
Okay. Carlos Hyde would be a good stash in case Chris Carson breaks his anything.
Literally, he's been doing that all year, though.
Yeah, so
he's been in and out of the lineup.
Like I said, outside of that, the running back position is extremely tough for the waiver wire because it just by the time you get to like week 4, it's just gone.
Right.
So there's nothing left. But let's talk about wide receivers. Gabriel Davis, 4th round rookie wide receiver for the Buffalo Bills. Coming into the year, you were very concerned about the league leader in catches.
I was
Stefan Diggs.
That's probably my biggest miss.
I'm so mad that I let you control my narrative.
You know what?
Because I was so hyped on Stefan Diggs, and you got me so far down on him. I was like, I can't.
You know what's ruined me is Odell, like the star receiver going to a team and then struggling. And then I was like, Josh Allen runs the ball, like he's probably gonna spread it out. Like I was like,
he doesn't throw it a lot either.
Yeah, he doesn't throw it a lot.
About that, they don't run the football this year.
Nope.
Like last year, they were a team that ran the football a lot. This year, they don't run it. But anyway, Gabriel Davis, coming into the year, I wouldn't have told you that to pick up any, besides maybe Stefan Diggs, to pick up any other Buffalo Bills wide receivers. Somebody would be like, John Brown truthers. But Gabriel Davis, there's so many good wide receivers for Buffalo, so this does make it a little bit more different.
John Brown is out for the year, though.
Yes, I know. I have him on several teams. I don't need a dynasty. Every single dynasty team that I took over, I ended up with John Brown.
That's kind of weird. But yeah, he's playing the John Brown role, and he's also getting red zone targets. So he's getting like a touchdown every week. He's going to be a really good player in this league, especially if he stays with the Bills and Josh Allen. Like him and Diggs and Cole Beasley, that's a solid 1, 2, 3. Beasley's the slot guy, and then Davis and Diggs on the outside.
If John Brown doesn't come back.
I don't think he's going to
come back to
Buffalo.
Okay.
He might, but again, Davis is a rookie, so let's say Brown comes back next year. I don't think he comes back the year.
I mean, he's had 3 consecutive games with a touchdown, 4 in the last 6 weeks, I should say. One of those weeks was a bye week, so he hasn't been bad. I am concerned about his conversion of targets.
Yeah, that is
3 catches on 8 targets and 19 yards, 6.3 yards per catch. That's horrible.
Now, if you watch the game though, there was a lot of like a lot of those weren't his fault.
Yeah.
So I'd be because if he gets 8 targets again, because other than this week, if you look at his season stats, he's been pretty efficient.
Yeah.
So I would love to see if he gets 8 targets again. Like I don't think he's gonna get 3 catches. I think he'll probably get 6 around that range. So I'd pick him up.
Good pickup. Yeah.
I want him in 10-man band, by the way.
Don't pick up Chad Hansen. Sorry.
Yeah, don't.
If Kikuchi's out there, I would stash him off. He's actually startable
Yeah.
He didn't have a good game this week, but he caught a touchdown, so that's all that matters. The Russell Gage also happens to be on this list. I'm not excited about that. Marcus Valdes-Scantling's rest of season schedule is good. He did catch a touchdown this week. It's a fight between who actually is the number 2 guy on.
I just think it's still Lazard, but I don't know.
I was looking at your transactions in the league. You dropped Scantling, you picked him up. You dropped him and you picked him up, not Scantling. Alan Lazard. Sorry.
Yeah.
You're like, you dropped him, you picked him up. You're pumped on Lazard. But anyway, Scantling had 17 points this week. At this point, you're late in the season, week 15, 16. Like, just add him, see what happens.
Sure.
If he has another good game in a row, maybe you can start him week 16. But his schedule's easy.
Would you not? Because I know you said you were on Russell Gage, but if Julio continues to be out,
Julio won't be out.
Okay. All right.
That's wishful thinking for you in your second round staff league matchup.
No, he's been out. I actually didn't even think that at all, but I mean, I hope he's out now that you said that. What about Jalen Rieger I know he's been on the show literally every episode, but Jalen Rieger he's this year's Chris Herndon.
Is this like confirmation? No? Was he good? No.
He had, Jalen Hurts had him wide open on it would have been like a 70-yard touchdown.
Yeah.
And he overthrew him by like 2 yards. Hit him.
Of course.
So, but if he would have hit him on that play, it would have changed everything.
It still's not.
Still no. I'm still no as well.
Yeah. It's not exciting. He does have a good playoff matchup, so if he's out there, maybe you can add him. But outside of that, I don't see anybody really to target at the wide receiver position. I mean, you might need to go out and pick up a guy for this particular week.
Yeah.
Just make sure it's a good matchup. That's all I'll say. Yeah, let's talk about tight ends really quickly. Irv Smith Jr. caught a touchdown this week.
Decided to ruin Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen's week.
You know what? Yeah.
Everybody was relying on Adam Thielen.
Everyone was like, "This is one of the favorite breakout tight ends of the year this year," and he sucks. But he caught a touchdown this past week, 4 targets, 4 receptions, 63 yards. I can't really get behind another receiver in an offense that throws it 28 times a game.
I know. Me
too.
I
know it's a good. He has a decent matchup against Chicago this week. It's not a bad situation for him, but this week he only played 35% of the snaps offensively.
Yeah, he still took targets away from Jefferson and Thielen.
So. I can't confidently say, like, yeah, I want to start this guy this week, or yeah, I want to pick him up and get him on my roster.
Right, I don't
because
either.
I just without the snap percentage, it's just, it doesn't look great.
Yeah, and it's the Vikings. I don't know what they're doing at tight end, because one week they use Kyle Rudolph and then another they use Irv Smith. Although I do think Kyle Rudolph was inactive this week, so that's also probably why they used Irv Smith.
He still only had 35% of the snaps.
Yeah, so
even without what's his name.
What about Cole Kmet? Do you have any interest in him?
I love Cole Kmet.
His snap percentage over the last few weeks has gone up, and then the last 2 weeks he has 7 and 7
He's going to be good
targets.
in like 3 years.
Yeah, even next year he could be good. But he's playing against Minnesota this week. I view him like Irv Smith. I think he's gonna be good next year. He's somebody that we can watch in the offseason.
I don't think he's gonna be good next year. I think Cole Kmet's gonna be good next year.
That's what I'm talking about.
You said Irv Smith Jr. like Irv Smith Jr.
Oh, I don't know. I meant to say Cole Kmet is going to be, I think, can be good next year.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll have to watch in the offseason, see how that plays out. And he could have a decent week this week. He's been getting, again, snap percentage has gone up the last few weeks. Targets has gone up the last few weeks.
And he's had 7 targets in the last 2 weeks.
I already said that.
Yeah, I was trying to get there and then I yawned.
Yeah, and against Minnesota, it's a good matchup. I'd probably rather play Cole Kmet than Irv Smith Jr. this week if you have to choose.
Yeah.
But again, not someone I'm crazy excited for.
Yeah. I don't think there's anyone else out there that you would be able to stream. I know there's a lot of tight ends. Like Kmet has a good playoff schedule. Jordan Atkins has a good week 15, 16.
Yuck.
And then you have Jordan Reed in San Francisco.
If Logan Thomas is still available in your league, make sure you pick him up.
Yeah.
He's been balling the last 2 weeks. But that's about it, I think.
Yeah. I think the tight end position is pretty washed, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it has been since
this
like
point.
week 3.
I know. I'm so tired of talking about tight ends.
Remember the Chris Herndon thing last year? It was the same thing.
What is that for Dalton Schultz this year?
Yeah, probably.
All right. That is our list of waiver wire ads for this week. It should be interesting. An interesting week 16. Wow.
Week 15.
Bro,
Don't.
Yeah,
So you lose 1 week and you're just done.
I'm toast. I still have two leagues I'm in. One, I'm 6-7. I won this week, going to the next round. Pumped on that.
That's kind of lit.
I'm going to try to get that team a chip. But thank you for listening to the Fantasy Champions Fantasy Football Podcast. Check out our website. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. We will talk to you tomorrow, Fantasy Champs.
Later, guys.
Thank you for listening to the Fantasy Champions Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on iTunes and YouTube and follow us on Twitter @TheFFChamps.